Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Well, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Let's see. Calavet uh, Awa Jagu, thank you so much for being here first. And let's see here. As ever, as ever, there was a message from the Duchess of Sussex today on the Instagram, and I'll share that with you in just one moment. Let me make sure that I didn't miss the other message. If there's another message, hold on, let me see. Nope, it's only for there. Okay. Oh my goodness, let me close some of these unnecessary windows. Do I need that? Nah. Oh, definitely don't need that one. Okay. So, I love this. One of the squatties put this together. A little would you call that a collage? With Love Meghan, and then of course the second season of With Love Meghan, and the no, it's the Christmas. Oh, it's going the other direction. You have the Christmas. No, it's not in order at all, is it? January, August, and then December 3rd. Oh, okay. It's going the other direction from the left to right. No, right to left. Yeah, right to left. But yeah, so you got all three of them up there, which is really cool. I like seeing that. It kind of tells a story where we've come from and how we got here, I guess. But yeah, so that is very cool. Thank you to the squatty who put that together. And right there it says, with the rush of the holiday season behind us, we look ahead with an intention to begin the new year at a gentler pace, rather, making space for moments that matter, shared over a cup of tea, by candlelight, or simply taking a pause when the day allows. A reminder that how you start matter, and that easing in can be its own kind of resolution. So yeah, how you start the year really does matter. If you want this year to be on a frantic pace, well, then run off in all directions. But if you want this year to be smooth and mellow, well, now is the time to set that pace. Pace yourself. Whatever goals and tasks that you have ahead, um, don't be too lazy because it's the new year, right? And then you got to catch up at the end of the year. Pace yourself through everything you have to do, and that avoids a lot of stress. Although I have to say, sometimes when your back is up against the wall, it can really bring out the best of you. But do you really want to function at that level all the time? Or do you want to save it for when it matters the most? Right? Just something to think about. It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while. and just smile. Yeah, I was looking at your comment. It reminded me of that song. It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while and just smile. That was the Rascals that made that song. Okay, but it is a beautiful morning. Oh yeah, and you know what? I just recall the beginning of that song. They had those Swiss bells at the very beginning. Remember that? Wasn't that a beautiful song? Well, thank you, Nolathonda, for reminding me of that song. It's a beautiful morning. Oh my God, is it Wednesday already? Is it? God, this week is going fast. Okay. So, film school plan after donation from Prince Harry. Excuse me. If you recall, the last time that Prince Harry was in the United Kingdom, he made a sizable donation. Do y'all recall that? Well, they got plans for that. A youth center in Nottingham has revealed plans to open a film school after the Duke of Sussex announced a substantial personal donation. Prince Harry has been supporting the community record studio since April of 2013. Since April of 2013. And the CRS uses music and sport to mentor young people in St. Anne's, a deprived inner city area that has been notorious for drugs and violent crime. The charity hopes Prince Harry's financial backing will help it replace the dilapidated old building where it has been operating for more than 30 years. Wow. You know, I wonder how much of a donation would it take to get rid of that dilapidated old queen consort? You know what I'm saying? Is there enough money in the world to replace that? Actually, it wouldn't cost much at all, would it? I would imagine it's relatively cheap. Oh, let me see. Mark it down. How long did it take for me to get shady? We've been on for 7 minutes, 56 seconds. Mark that down. It only took me 7 minutes and 56 seconds before I got real shady. Okay. I couldn't hold it. I had to release it. More in out more room out than in. Dilapidated. First thing I thought about was Camilla, the Queen Consort. So the charity hopes Prince Harry's financial backing will help it replace. Oh yeah, I did that already, didn't I? All right. So here it says Prince Harry gave 1.1 million of his own money to Children in Need project in Nottingham that supports young people affected by violence. Now remember, there are all these derangers that even as recent as this weekend they were saying that the Sussexes are broke and they don't know where their next money is coming from. Announcing that donation during the most recent visit to the CRS in September last year, he said Nottingham has my commitment, my respect, and forever a place in my heart. The studio founder and chief executive Trevor Rose said Prince Harry's personal contribution would make a huge difference. Look at that place. Won't that be beautiful? Look at that. Gorgeous. Oh, solar panels and everything. It's going to be some sustainable architecture there. For him to help us out in the way, in that way, that is, shows that he recognizes and seen over the years. He said, he knows us for over 10 years now. So for him to say, I'm willing to do this goes a long way. Amen to that. And it says here, Mr. Rose is now, oh, by the way, I believe the gentleman in the upper left corner there, that is Mr. Trevor Rose. Mr. Rose is now working on how to use the donation to kickstart plans to rebuild the CRS. He said it's very ambitious. All of the things that kids have said they've seen on TV could be a reality right here in St. Anne's, run by young people, helped by the community for the benefit of our future. Proposals include a state of the art recording studio and basketball court next to a professional 4G football pitch and new facilities for acting classes and creative work. We're going to evolve into being a film studio. We're going to bring out young actors, added Mr. Rose. So, a film school releasing films and acting classes, I think, is a big step for us. The CRS already teaches film and video skills, and one recent drama session was led by BAFTA winning actor and director Adam Deacon, who played Jay in the films Kid Adult and Adulthood. Mr. Deacon said the children to improvise scenarios, including arguments about cleaning the house. There was applause for 9-year-old Aiden, who pointed assertively and said, Mom left you in charge. I was trying to make him clean everything up because I don't want to do it, and I was too lazy to do it, Aiden said. I think it's rude. Okay, I guess that's the kid pointing right there. Mr. Deacon said children could suffer from anger issues when they felt they were not being heard. The drama was a way to relieve that frustration. Oh, that's a good idea. There's another way to vent what you're going through. You can do it with an improvisation, he added. You can let out steam in a safe way where you can actually entertain people as well. So it's a win win. Now, see, I would love for our Duchess to go there and do some workshops. Wouldn't that be cool if our Duchess went there and did a few workshops? I would love that. Mr. Rose said CRS had been contacted by other well known actors and hoped to involve them in making a major film with young people in St. Anne's. For me, it's integral that we believe in our young people. We show them ways to evolve, give them something to dream for, something they believe is not possible, he said. Mr. Rose hopes they can mentor more young people who go on to build and run the project. This is the future of what CRS is about, he added. Watch this space. You know what? I am loving it. And for that, we have got to give them some flowers. We've got to give them some flowers. Yes. I love good news. I really do love good news. And that's not just good news, that is great news. All right. Good morning, Maxine Lawrence. Morning from South Africa. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. One of these days, I'm going to have to learn the rest of that song. You know what I mean? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wouldn't it be nice to know more of that song? Let me see here. Nothing to do to save his life, called his wife and nothing. Is that good morning? Good morning. Nothing to do. Oh, I don't know what the melody is. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Moving on. Meghan issued 6-word warning amid Prince Harry security review. Now, this kind of surprised me because I was just really allowing my shoulders to relax a little bit. And I was kind of surprised when I saw this. Okay. Let me see here. This is in the Irish Mirror, right? It says Prince Harry's security is currently being reviewed by Ravak, and one royal expert has issued a warning to Meghan ahead of any potential return to the UK. Now, see, that sounds a bit ominous right there. I don't like the tone of it. Already, it has kind of got me agitated. It says here that Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has received a cautionary message regarding a possible return to the UK as Prince Harry's security aspirations may finally be realized. The Duke of Sussex is presently awaiting a fresh review from Ravak. Well, that review has happened already, and we're just waiting for the official word. The body responsible for determining protection levels for royalty and VIPs concerning his taxpayer funded security entitlements. The review, which has yet to release its findings, could result in Harry regaining taxpayer funded police protection he enjoyed. Yeah. Let's get to the part with Meghan. Um, This would represent a substantial shift in the prince's circumstances. Yeah. Given Harry has maintained security concerns are the sole reason for him preventing him from bringing his wife Meghan and their children to the UK since 2022. Whilst enhanced security arrangements could potentially alter his situation and enable Meghan and the couple's children to join the Duke on forthcoming UK visits, the royal commentator has offered a word of caution to the Duchess of Sussex. Now we're getting to the meat of it. In a piece for the iPaper, former BBC correspondent Jeannie Bond, old piranha face, suggested that Meghan ought to carefully consider any UK visit, proposing that the optimal arrangements might be for Harry to bring Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet to his homeland unaccompanied. Did you understand that? One more time. Jeannie Bond suggested that Meghan ought to carefully consider any UK visit proposal that the optimal arrangement might be for Harry to bring Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet to his homeland unaccompanied. In other words, Meghan stay home. That's coming from Jeannie Bond. Now, Jeannie Bond has won some points with me recently because of some of the more sensible things that she's said, right? Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? This is way out of left field. Leg says, interesting that Jeannie Bond would give Meghan a warning versus highlighting the abusive media. Meghan is going to go where she wants. British media don't want to see Meghan in the UK being cheered. Thank you so much, Legs. Jeannie Bond just showed that she wants to stay adjacent to the British media because who would tell a mother to let their children go somewhere where they abused her? How about that family say something to the media? Hello. Those are Meghan's children. King Charles III and that family don't care to visit the children in the United States. So, what is the push for them to visit the UK? Charles III doesn't care for his own children nor William's children. Here, here. I am just. Jeannie Bond has said quite a few things recently, and even a year ago, more than a year ago, when she said, do not expect people to give Kate a free pass. I'm not paraphrasing as best I could, but I'm doing what I remember, the spirit of what she said. We can't keep criticizing Meghan and then expect people to be hands off with Kate. Period. If you don't want people criticizing Kate, then we need to consider how we criticize Meghan. That's kind of what she said. So, where is this coming from? Where she is saying that Meghan should stay home and the children, I mean, this took some thought. This took some thought. This is not something that just came out in the throes of a conversation. This is a strategy, and I don't like it. Who is this heifer think she is? The audacity needs to be studied. These are Meghan's children, and she will move about as she pleases. Hello. In the 6-word warning, Jeannie wrote that if she were Meghan, I'd give the UK a miss. That's the 6 words. I'd give the UK a miss. I have to think about that. I really have to. I want to know where is this coming from. The commentator added any visit by Meghan would need to be carefully curated and monitored. She may not be the same, I'm sorry, she may not be in the same physical danger, but she's more likely to be the target of a verbal backlash than Harry, who still has a way of endearing himself to the crowd. Jeannie went on, if I were her, I'd give the UK a miss. She's clearly happy at home in California. Why wouldn't she why wouldn't she be? Is a question. Why wouldn't she be? She seems to be happier in California. Why wouldn't she be? Now, one could argue that Jeannie Bond is trying to be helpful, but it would rely upon us assuming that the Sussexes are completely naive to the fact that there are hostile people out there that are likely to make the attempt to gather so that they can boo the Duchess. Now, they tried to do that when Meghan and Harry were here. Remember when Meghan wore the red? There was like maybe I don't know, a couple people in the crowd that were trying to boo Meghan, and they were shouted down by the Sussex squad, right? So I don't think that there's going to be the big walkabout because for Harry, that would be terrifying to have Meghan doing a walkabout. And I don't think he wants that. And I don't know. I don't know how Meghan would feel about that, but I'm pretty sure Harry would be totally uneasy with that, right? So I get the carefully curated thing, but I believe most mothers would risk being booed rather than to send their children to some place that has proven hostile to the entire family. Isn't that why those guys are in jail right now? Because of the stuff that they said about Archie? Because of the stuff they said about the entire family? The people that referred to Harry as a race traitor? And what is usually the punishment for people in that situation? The punishment is it is very dangerous and probably not something that I would discuss in this forum, in this format. But those are some very dangerous people, which is why they're in jail. Sounds like she's speaking for Wheeling and or Kate. They know Meghan pulls focus without trying. I'm with legs. The bots they're paying online can't show up in person. Ooh, ooh, I like that. I like that. You guys are so much more intelligent than I, and I think we need to trade places because I hadn't thought about it like that. I hadn't given that the least thought, but that is so true. Bots don't show up. Bots do not vote. Bots do not boo. Bots are in cyberspace. Okay, that is excellent. Let me see. You mean to tell me that the entire island is more concerned about a biracial American woman that don't want to be abused versus that other person? I think that the British media and the Rangers need to look at their priorities. You know, I like Jeannie Bond now. I do. But asking a mother to send their children someplace where there is a potential danger without her, I just don't see that as logical. That is irrational. You know, Republic, Republic was holding up yellow signs down with the crown. And they did this in the full presence of the Wells's kids, right? Um, I'm trying to see if I can find that video. But that happened right in the full view while Kate was in the carriage with the kids. Now, honestly, that made me very uncomfortable. No matter what I think about the monarchy, I was uncomfortable that the kids were subject to that. That made me uncomfortable. But living in the world that we do today, it's risky to have the kids out there for a variety of reasons, right? For a variety of reasons. For Archduke Ferdinand reasons, it is risky to have those kids out there. Um, I think those kids ought to be in a vehicle and not in a carriage, but they have to put the kids in a carriage because they're dependent upon them to help bolster the fortunes for the monarchy, to help boost their ratings. But that made me uncomfortable. It really did. So I doubt if we're going to find Archie and Lily in a similar situation. It even makes me glad that Archie and Lily do not have to be a part of that circus. I don't ever want to see them in one of those carriages. I don't want to see the Wellses kids in those carriages until they're adults. I really don't want to see their kids in those carriages. I don't like it. I didn't like when Charlotte went and gave that woman a big hug. Those kids shouldn't have been walking back and forth like that. I did not like that. So I feel like they take a little bit too much for granted with all of these children. So yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that someone could be sitting there watching television or reading the paper or looking at videos online and saying to themselves, "Oh, is that how close you can get?" I'm like, "What are these people doing?" And I know that's the Christmas march, and most of those people that gathered were probably completely harmless, but it sets a precedence, and I don't like it. I don't like it, and I certainly don't ever want to see Archie and Lily in a situation like that. So if the derangers think that the Sussexes and their children are missing out on something, they could have it. They can have it. Yep, they can have it. Let's see here. Oh man, I don't think I have that video. I mean, I know I have it. I just cannot find it. But yeah, that made me uncomfortable when those kids were in that carriage like that. And that was trooping the colors. I don't care whose kids they are. They're kids. They're kids. Okay. Yeah, well, that one lady extended her arms and Charlotte ran over and gave this lady a hug. And I'm just like, I didn't like that. Oh, oh yes. Wow, you guys are on top of it right now. Yeah, it was too much. I didn't like that. I did not like that. Let me see. Megan is an exceptional person. I think sometimes that the culture in the UK is to settle for what life deals you. There is no incentive for upward mobility that is not the nepotism aristocracy. You know, there's a guy that was living in Bali, right? And he got one of those good educations. His family, um, I think his family was not exactly in the upper middle class, but they made sure that he got a good education. And what did he do with it? He tried to become this online entrepreneur, whatever. And he, um, and this was just his opinion. And he said that there's a lot of pressure amongst working class people that if they see, and this is what, he's from the UK. This is what he said about the UK. I don't know, I'm not from there. But he said that there's a lot of pressure on people that if you are at that point where you're starting to succeed, that people will shun you and put you down and make remarks like you're getting above yourself. Now, and full disclosure, this person is a white English man who is saying that amongst other people that he has grown up with, his colleagues from school, that as his fortunes rose higher, that they put him down and made him feel as though he was a phony and a fraud and such. So that was kind of interesting. I listened to him, but when I found out that he was a big MAGA person, I stopped paying attention to him. I don't remember what his name is, but he pops up on my YouTube every so often. And yeah, it was interesting, um, his take on it, which is why he said that a lot of young people are leaving the UK because there doesn't seem to be enough opportunity. That a lot of young people have gone to other countries in Europe or gone to the continental Europe, if you will. And of course, a lot have gone to the United States, um, and other places for opportunity because it does not seem to be the same entrepreneurial spirit that there once was when there was like so many shops on the high street and such. So interesting take. And your comment made me think about that just now. So maybe it's true, maybe it's not true, but I think there's a lot of pressure on young people all over the Western industrial world to move to other countries or try to make money virtually online or whatever, because it just doesn't seem to be the same prosperity available that it was for generations prior. So, very interesting. We should talk about that one day. Thank you for your comment, though. Okay. Let's see. Brand Britain has been shattered. I think that is why they always put out a Bond movie. It gives the illusion that Brits are suave, attractive, cunning, etc. Not that some Brits aren't. It is just hard. Yeah, and I I was reading about how difficult it is to buy your first property. Let's say in Australia, it's very difficult to buy your first property in the UK, and there's a huge housing shortage in Canada right now. And there's, of course, slowly here in the US, we are being priced out of the housing market. Young people are being priced out of the housing market. It's not as bad because there's a hell of a lot of new construction, but bargains are increasingly more difficult to find. So, um, This is like something that has really affected countries in the West is a shortage of decent, affordable housing, and young people are unable to get into the housing market. It's more difficult. Let's see. The Heritage Foundation in the U.S. is an organization to be feared. Harry and Meghan need to be watchful. Well, yes, we've had um, the Heritage Foundation target Harry several times. The Heritage Foundation, in case people don't know what that is, it is a think tank, and it is all about the preservation of white supremacy. It's really about white supremacy. It is to maintain a very conservative right wing agenda. Um, and even with that, um, you have someone like Camilla Tominey, who I believe is a member. I know she's made an appearance on one of their Zoom calls. Think she belongs to that. And that's the same Camilla Tominey that wrote that horrible article that caused those women at the Hub Kitchen to receive all of those threats from perfect strangers because she tried to link that kitchen to terrorism. So that's the kind of stuff that the Heritage Foundation, that's what they're capable of. That's the stuff that they do. Not just capable of it, but they try very hard to create hate because, as you know, hate brings people together. If you find a common enemy, then it has a way of bringing certain people together. So yeah, they are dangerous. They are very dangerous, but they're not alone. There's plenty other people out there. That Neil Gardner and Camilla Tominey in on the board of Heritage Foundation. Yeah, Heritage Foundation. I don't know how long they've been around, but their goal is to be the gatekeepers. And didn't the Heritage Foundation, weren't they the ones who drafted that 2025 thing for Trump's first 25 days or whatever it was? Weren't they the ones who wrote that? Project 25? Yeah. Yeah. And for the first time in years, the population of Detroit is actually on the rise. I don't know about other countries, but here in the US, there are a lot of fixer uppers. There are a lot of fixer uppers. And there, I don't know if they've taken all the incentives away. Remember when HUD was giving the houses away for $1 or something like that? But I still think it's relatively easy for some people to get into the housing market, but you have to move to do it. You won't necessarily be able to stay in San Francisco or New York or even Chicago, but there are still bargains to be had out there. But it's a lot of pressure on young people. It's a different world, and the salaries have not kept up with inflation. I can attest to that myself, that as a working class person, I had a job in a factory that paid X amount of money. And then I went to a service job that paid nearly an identical amount of money. And in between, I've made more and I've made less. But almost 20 years to the day, I was still at that same salary that I was 20 years prior. So when they say that salaries have not kept up with inflation, I've experienced that myself. I've experienced that myself. Oh, it's hard to get the HUD homes nowadays. Okay. Yeah, they've taken so many things away. And when I say they, you know who I mean, but they've taken a lot of things away. Legs, I feel like we're gonna have to do a live, not a live, but a one of those members only, or at least a chat soon, so that we can talk about this kind of stuff, because it is an interesting topic and it does affect a lot of people, in particular young people. Um, I think it's really easy to get a rental in the U.S. You can still find a rental. You're gonna pay a lot for it now. You may work a second job just to pay for it. But I think rentals are still easy to come by. But there are some countries where that's not easy to come by. There's some places where you can't even rent a place. It's becoming more difficult. So um it's not as easy for the young people nowadays, which is unfortunate. Isn't it though? I'm loving it. But I got so much stuff to cover. I'm gonna have to move on from it. Alex says, I think that we are close to stagflation now. Hell, I thought we were here already. Thank you for the super chat. I thought we were here already. Now, I do have a soundbite to play for you. Um, it's a chance to revisit that conversation between Oprah, Harry, and of course, our beautiful Duchess of Sussex. So let me cue that up for you. And that'll give me a chance to stretch. Baby, my heart is full of love and desire for you. So come on and keep doing what you got to do.
What kind of protection did you want that you feel you didn't receive?
I mean, they would go on the record and negate, like.
Buffering.
Or being protected.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during that part of my pregnancy, especially, that I started to understand what our continued reality was going to look like.
What kind of protection?
Mm-hmm. And it was during that part of my pregnancy, especially, that I started to understand what our continued reality was going to look like.
What kind of protection did you want that you feel you didn't receive?
I mean, they would go on the record and negate the most ridiculous story for anyone, right? If I'm talking about things that are super artificial and inconsequential. But the narrative about, making Kate cry, I think was the beginning of a real character assassination. And they knew it wasn't true. And I thought, well, if they're not going to kill things like that, then what are we going to do? Separate from that, and what was happening behind closed doors was, we knew I was pregnant. We now know it's Archie, and that it was a boy. We didn't know any of that at the time. We can just talk about it as Archie now. And that was when they were saying they didn't want him to be a prince or a princess, not knowing what the gender would be, which would be different from protocol, and that he wasn't going to receive security.
What?
It was really hard.
What do you mean?
He wasn't going to receive security. This went on for the last few months of our pregnancy, where I'm going, hold on a second.
That your son and Harry, Prince Harry's son, was not going to receive security?
That's right. I know.
But how does that work?
How does that work? It's like, no. Because if he's not going to be a prince, it's like, okay, well, he needs to be safe. So we're not saying don't make him a prince or a princess, whatever it's going to be. But if you're saying the title is what's going to affect their protection, we haven't created this monster machine around us in terms of clickbait and tabloid fodder. You've allowed that to happen, which means our son needs to be safe.
So how do they explain to you that your son, the grandson, the great-grandson of the queen, is not going to have, he wasn't going to be a prince? How do they tell you that? And what reasons did they give? And then say, and so therefore you don't need protection.
There's no explanation. There's no version. I mean, that's the other piece
Who
of it.
tells you that?
I heard a lot of it through Harry, and then other parts of it through conversations with family members. And it was a decision that they felt was appropriate. And I thought, well,
the title, was him being called a prince, Archie being called a prince, was that important to you?
If it meant he was going to be safe, then of course. All the grandeur surrounding this stuff is an attachment that I don't personally have, right? I've been a waitress, an actress, princess, a duchess. I've always just still been Meghan, right? So for me, I'm clear on who I am, independent of that stuff. And the most important title I will ever have is mom. I know that. But the idea of our son not being safe, and also the idea of the first member of color in this family not being titled in the same way that other grandchildren would be. You know, the other piece of that conversation is there's a convention, I don't know if it's George V or George VI convention, that when you're the grandchild of the monarch, so when Harry's dad becomes king, automatically Archie and our next baby would become prince or princess or whatever they're going to be.
So for you, it's about protection and safety, not so much as what the title means.
That's
to
a
the
huge
world.
piece of it. But I mean,
and that having the title gives you the safety and protection.
Yeah, but also it's not their right to take it away.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think even with that convention I'm talking about, while I was pregnant, they said they want to change the convention for Archie. Well, why?
Did you get an answer?
No.
You still don't have an answer?
No.
You know, we had heard, the world, those of us out here reading the things or hearing the things, that it was you and Harry who didn't want Archie to have a prince title. So you're telling me that is not true?
No, and it's not our decision to make, right? Even though I have a lot of clarity on what comes with the titles, good and bad, and from my experience, a lot of pain. I, again, wouldn't wish pain on my child, but that is their birthright to then make a choice about.
Okay, so it feels to me like things started to change when you and Harry decided that you were not going to take the picture that had been a part of the tradition for years. And
we weren't asked to take a picture. That's also part of the spin that was really damaging. I thought, can you just tell them the truth? Can you say to the world, you're not giving him a title and we want to keep him safe? And that if he's not a prince, then it's not part of the tradition? Just tell people and then they'll understand. But they wouldn't do that.
But you both obviously were aware that that had been a part of the tradition. And was there a specific reason why you didn't want to be a part of that tradition? I think many people interpreted that as you were both saying, we're going to do things our way, or we're going to do things in a different way.
That's not it at all. I mean, I think what was really hard, so picture now that you know what was going on behind the scenes, right? There was a lot of fear surrounding it. I was very scared of having to offer up our baby, knowing that they weren't going to be kept safe.
Okay, well, it was Glow who felt very, very strongly that some of this stuff needed to be revisited, which I agree. Every time you hear it, you get something else out of it. You feel more connected. and you get something greater out of it than you were able to receive, you know, a few years ago when it first aired. So I'm glad to that she shared that for us. Looks like there was some gaslighting going on. Um, what color do you think the baby will be, and what is that going to look like? I do believe someone asked that question. I don't think that the Sussexes are liars. And I really don't know how to explain it to a person if they would even be receptive enough to understand it, no matter how clear you explain it. But I have been in many situations where I was the only Black person. And I remember one job I had, it was a customer service job in a restaurant. I was the only Black person on staff. And every day, this cop came in there and spoke to everyone except for me. I just got that vibe he did not care for me. This is a cop. I'm working in a very, very white community. Um, I was transferred there because I had a management position. Imagine how vulnerable I felt every time I left that place, wondering if the blue lights are going to come on for whatever reason. And that I was away from the inner city, and that I would probably feel quite afraid I won't be treated fairly, or that somebody will make up something, right? So, no matter what someone feels about Meghan's ethnicity, Meghan is still Black enough to know that as a mother, your mixed race child is not safe around racist, bigoted people. Just like that nurse at that hospital saw that woman was in a great deal of pain and probably in labor, and she sat there and very coldly ignored her, dismissed her pain. That nurse was the equivalent of a slave catcher. She was the equivalent of a racist cop. She was the equivalent of a lynch mob. And anyone else who ever has watched a Black person in a vulnerable position and either did nothing or did something horrible to that Black person, that's what she was doing. She was no different than any of the above mentioned. And in this instance, all she had to do was just do nothing. And by doing nothing, that woman could have potentially lost a child or lost her life or both. And that's just one person. I wonder how many other nurses and doctors and paramedics are out there doing the same thing, which is nothing. So, whenever you think about Archie and Lily around that family or around some of the people that work for that family, if you couldn't keep William safe from receiving a blow to the head – that cracked his skull, I would not trust those people to keep Archie and Lily safe. William, the future king, had to go and have emergency surgery because he took a blow to the head. They couldn't keep him safe. What are the chances that they would keep Archie and Lily safe? And given that knowledge, you want Meghan to stay home? I don't think so. I don't think so. Those kids may not come at all. Or they may come and spend some time with old sausage fingers and then go, I don't know, maybe to Althorpe or something like that, go someplace private, and then you just won't see them. They'll be there. Harry can show them the spaces that he wants to show them, but it may not be a big public thing. If Harry takes them to the Balmoral estate, in all likelihood, that would be quite private. If Harry takes them to Althorpe to visit their grandmother's grave, that would be quite private. A lot of this stuff will be private. I'm sure of that. Yeah, I don't trust them. I do not trust them. Okay, there's a second part that I want you guys to hear. And that's where Harry actually does some speaking. It's not nearly as long as the other one, but I'm going to share that right now. I believe that too. I believe the person who asked that question was someone who had spent a lifetime harassing Harry, someone who felt secure enough that they could challenge Harry without any repercussion. So I agree with you.
On the security element, I never thought that I would have my security removed because I was born into this position. I inherited the risk.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a shock to me. That was what completely changed the whole plan.
So that you, as Prince Harry,
Yeah.
are going to have your security removed.
Yeah, and I even wrote letters to his family saying, please, it's very clear the protection of me or Archie is not a priority. I accept that. That is fine. Please keep my husband safe. I see the death threats. I see the racist propaganda. Please keep him safe. Please don't pull his security and announce to the world when he and we are most vulnerable. And they said it's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was the other part that I wanted to share with you. Yeah. Of course, the thing in South Africa where Meghan was like, well, we are not supposed to go and, they said, oh, no, you have to. Your child was in a situation where there's smoke, there's some kind of electronic fire or whatever going on. And because the nanny had a second thought about leaving Archie unattended, fortunately, she took him with. And by doing so, possibly saved his life, saved his very delicate young lungs from being filled with acrid smoke. Could have been damaging, if not fatal. And this is why Harry said that he felt incredibly embarrassed that there were many times when he was in royal mode instead of being more protective. Well, I don't blame him because he's had a lifetime of, for lack of a better word, brainwashing. He had been conditioned to not refuse. William can refuse, but Harry was conditioned to never refuse. An order is an order. um, but when Harry said, I remember he said that racism took on a completely different look when he married Meghan because people he had known his entire life, all of a sudden, their whole body language shifted at the mention of Meghan. Their demeanor changed with the sight of Meghan. And these were people that he loved and trusted his entire life. Some of them family, some of them friends. But all of them seemed to have that thing where they got awkward and maybe some of them made comments. But whatever it was that happened, it was very clear that they did not see Meghan as a whole and complete human being. And if they treat an adult, educated woman like that, what do you think they would do to the children? It doesn't matter if they have red hair. It doesn't matter how white their skin is. That is not the point. The point is their African heritage. For some people, the fact that they have African heritage will make them somewhat inferior to the rest of the family or to the rest of the country. And there are people who will never get past that. There are people who believe that that somehow makes them inferior. Would you want to leave your children around people like that? Would you want those people surrounding your children? Especially, would you allow that and you're not even accompanying your children? That is a hard no. Yeah, that is a hard no. Um, remember that Sally Fields movie, Not Without My Daughter? Remember that? When she moved to what country was that? Was it Iraq, Iran, wherever she moved to? She moved to the Middle East, and her husband, who had been her knight in shining armor, went back home, and all of a sudden she saw a different side of him. And when she was ready to leave, all of a sudden they said, you can go, but you can't take your daughter, because over here, the daughter is the responsibility of the man. The man has custodial rights above any woman. So no, you cannot take your child. And so she had to come up with a scheme with the help of people that were native to that country. That's the thing. I wouldn't want anyone to believe that that was the consensus amongst everyone. There were people that were just like, you know what, you got to get your daughter out of here. And so, until she got on that plane, she did not feel safe. So yeah, that's a mother's love for you. And I don't know who would expect a mother to be away from their children. And even with the risk of someone booing you, that's not a reason to stay home. If that's the only reason why they think Meghan should stay home is the risk that someone might boo or jeer her, you got to come up with something more compelling. And if the other reason is that they feel that Meghan may not be as safe as Harry, well, the truth is none of them are safe as long as there are people that view them as subhuman to some degree or see Harry as a race traitor, then none of them are safe. Yes, thank you for that, Hazel. It is based on a true story. It's a great movie if you guys ever have a chance to see it. It's with Sally Fields. Not Without My Daughter. Hmm. I tell you, some interesting topics today. Okay. All right. Let me see. What is next on the roster? Oh, by the way, let me show you this. If you have any doubts about the Oprah Winfrey interview, I just want you to see this. I've shared this not long ago. For Americans who watch Oprah interview, boosted that is, popularity of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, the U.S. adults were asked if they had a favorable or unfavorable view of members of the British royal family before and after Oprah Winfrey's interview with Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So Meghan's numbers just definitely went up. Harry's numbers, were always high, but they went back up again. I'm not so concerned about the numbers as I used to be. But thing is, when the truth comes out about that institution, about Willie and Kitty and Charles and Camilla's always low. But when the truth comes out, their favorability drops. And then there is a rush to campaign to get those numbers back up, right? They have these aggressive campaigns. On the weekend, they have their podcasts. They have all of those platforms on whatever. And it takes that to get their numbers up so that people instinctively feel something favorable. They don't know what they're feeling. They don't know why they feel it, but there are voices saying, Kate is this, Kate is that. They don't know the real Kate. Okay, so they finally got Kate back up there again, only for Omid Scobie to write the book Endgame, and the entire institution fell below 50%. That was when they were underwater as a result of that book. That is when they went on this big charm offensive where they couldn't take enough pictures with black people. Their numbers tanked, especially Kate, who had always gotten those really favorable numbers. And then all of a sudden, when people heard this thing about who's the racist in the family, her numbers went down. And I do believe that in certain sectors, their numbers are perpetually low. Even though amongst the so called working royals, it may be high, but if you look at the population as a whole, most people are rather blase about it and just don't really care. but it's not like there's this big majority that are enthusiastic about them. Most people really do not care. So these polls are skewed in favor of the institution. Mm, mm, okay, that's nice to know. Not without my daughter. Okay, I'm going to move on to something else. Speaking of Kate, which rhymes with hate, Kate's go-to designer hits rock bottom as debts rise. Huh, that's the Kate effect. She wears your clothes and they tank. Um, what is that? 6 January 2026. Yet another designer that supposedly benefited from Kate wearing their clothes is about to lose her business. They're about to lose their business. There is no big benefit to Kate Middleton frequenting your shop, wearing your clothes, or speaking your name. Nothing comes of it. It's a big fat nothing burger. They are trying to gaslight us. They are trying to brainwash us into believing that there's something there, but there is no there. Even though Kate has moved to wearing more designer labels that does not include coat dresses, it does not make a difference. Things do not sell out. Companies go out of business. That has been a constant. There is no a magic Kate effect. There just isn't. Meghan sells. Kate, adequate. Adequate. She may as well be wearing a uniform. Now, what do we have here? Kate is in total control of her own. Hold on, let me put on some lip balm before I split my lip. Oh, Lord, where is it? Anyway, Kate is in total control of her wardrobe. Well, I'm glad to see that somebody's taking responsibility. That explains a lot. Kate is in control of her wardrobe, and she could not look more ridiculous if she tried. Ever since that gal left, it has gone from bad to worse. You hear me? It has gone from bad to worse. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. You tried cutting the sandbags, but the balloon wouldn't go any higher. Is that why Kate is wearing that dress? Not dress, but that skirt that is seemingly attacking her? I have never seen someone wear a skirt that appears to be in total control of their movements. It looks like that skirt is trying to suffocate her. I don't think a dryer sheet will fix that. I don't know that that's static electricity or did something just scare the crap out of that skirt. I don't know what it is. But if it's not that skirt on the right, it's that dress on the left. Why does it look like Kate is trying to stoop down and lay an egg or something? What is going on with that? Now, see, if I was her, I would never have admitted to anyone that I am the one in charge of my fashions. Isn't it better to let people believe that it's someone else who got it in for you? At least that way you don't seem as ridiculous as you look. But yeah, it has gone from bad to worse. If I was her, I'd try to get that girl back. I mean, she wasn't great, but she's better than this. I don't know what's going on. And sometimes I don't know if she's coming or going. I don't know if she's walking backwards or moving forward. Yeah, yeah. That's the Kate effect. Such a fashion plate. They literally said that Kate is in charge of her own clothes now. Well, first of all, the woman is over 40 years old. It's about time, right? It's about time that she, you know, finds something that I was going to say that looks amazing on her, but she doesn't. Remember when she was at that party with Sir, what's his name? Virgin Air. Remember she was at that party and it looks like she had her mama's clothes on? Sir Richard Branson. Yeah, it looked like she had her mama's clothes on. Let me find that picture. If I would have been at that party, I'd have been like, ooh, somebody mama is here. Who mama is that? Somebody brought their mama. Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. Who mama is that? Huh? Who brought their mama? Okay, first of all, it's not hideous, but don't you think that looks a bit mature for a woman her age? She had to have been, how old was she then? In her late 20s? It's not a Kate effect. It's the Jessica Tandy effects. Or it's the what's the lady from Murder She Wrote? When she was young, she used to play older people. You know, one of those people that always seemed like they were old even when they were in their 20s. Yeah. Tacky is as tacky does. Po Kate. Who invited their mom to this party? Mm. Oh, and how about that Angela Lansbury? That's it. Thank you so much, Angela Lansbury. That's the Angela Lansbury effect when you always look about 10 to 20 years older than what you really are. And then, of course, when she went to the royal, whatever that was, dressed as a pilgrim, oh, I was embarrassed. And look, even her child is embarrassed. He's like, did you have to, mom? And look at how that skirt is attacking her. I tell you what, though, I give her credit for being able to smile through the attack. I don't know if most people are able to smile even though they're being attacked by their skirt. I don't know that most people could muster a smile while their skirt is attacking them, but it just goes to show you how strong Kate is, that she can be attacked by a skirt and still manage to save face. Extraordinary. I gotta find my lip balm because I promise you, I'm sitting here trying not to laugh because I'm afraid I'm gonna split my lip at this dry air. Oh well. I just ordered some more though. Okay. I'll find it later. And of course, Since that lady left, since she got rid of her stylist, her dresser, her hair has gotten increasingly bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, that's not just the Kate effect. I believe Legs calls it the cousin it effect, where you almost don't even have a gender because you have so much hair. People don't even know what you are up under that. But one thing we know for sure, wig, looking a bit wiggy. Have you noticed whenever Baron starts to dish out Baron Chicago accent comes out too? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I noticed that myself. All those erudite manners that I try to perpetuate completely vanishes. Thank you so much for the super chat. Now, uh, the warning. There was a warning to Kate Middleton. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'll fill you in as best I can. Picture it. Amanda Platel. Careful, Kate. You don't realize it, but your inner circle may have inadvertently stabbed you in the back. Um, First of all, isn't that the entire institution? To some degree, aren't most of the royals being sabotaged by the people they employ? And when I say this, it's like William. William has received some incredibly bad advice from the people closest to him. Advice that has made him look ridiculous. The advice that caused him to go to the Caribbean and turn what should have been a routine royal tour into a colonizing tour. That is what his staff has done for him. And the same with Kate. Kate's staff tries to create these situations where she comes across like she is some type of corporate person, like she's running a huge foundation, as opposed to being a very pampered princess that has her courtiers giving her an empty binder to tuck under her arm so that she can look credible when she goes and sit at a round table because she does not have the ability to address a crowd, right? They're the ones who have taken the work of that young woman that was on the TED Talk. Remember the little girl on TED Talk that really gave the information that Kate used for her early years and all that kind of stuff? All of that was hijacked. None of that was new. Kate is not sitting in some laboratory or in some clinical study trying to find the best way to help children. Kate needed a project so that it didn't seem as though she was sitting around doing nothing, even though we know she's not doing anything. Um, that was the whole point of the early years. That is the whole point of what is it, the shape of us and all that. That's it. That's it. I have it on good authority that Kate is not responsible for any of that stuff. She is not able to explain it because she doesn't know anything about it. It is smoke and mirrors. It is a ruse. It is an opportunity for her to seem as though she's smart. Now, I don't think she's a dum dum. I'm pretty sure she has a lot of sense. But is she able to articulate the early years? Is she able to articulate the shape of us? I say no. And the reason I say that is because she had nothing to do with it. It's a vanity project. That is why that lady who worked for Jamie Oliver, when she went over to Kensington Palace and she got a good view of the nonsense that they tried to hire her to do, she said, no, I'd rather go back to the private sector. No, thank you. Quiet as it's kept, Kate has gone through quite a few people herself. Now, she has people that stay, but they're just as clueless as she is. Okay. Now, if you take a look on the right, it says how Kate saved the royals. And that is that by Robert Jobson? Oh my God, Robert Jobson wrote that? I'm not going to bother with the article because it's not true. It's not true. Kate didn't save anything. The idea of Kate, this image that they have cultivated where they can just say that Kate is thinking this, Kate is feeling that, Kate has done such and such. That's all it is. There is Kate Middleton, and then there is this characterization that they have created for public consumption. How many articles? Kate's coming into her own. Kate has found her voice. How many of those articles have we seen? Kate's fresh start. Kate starting over. There's one that comes out, not one, but several of them that come out at least every 3 months. Every 3 months. Another thing that they were saying she needs to be careful about is this use of queen. The use of queen. They have been doing this for years, and I don't understand why now they feel as though Kate may have overstepped the mark. It's not Kate, it's the Kensington crew. Kate is not the one, and I'm sure she's not the one that's saying, um, you know, keep throwing Queen out there, keep mentioning Queen in waiting and such. It's very rude to Camilla. Not that I care about that, but it's very rude to Camilla. William simultaneously sending messages about his future reign. And together, they are annoying the hell out of Charles and Camilla. William's people have been promoting this idea that he is seizing power and that he's in all these meetings learning how to be king. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I do not believe that that is the case. I believe that when William, they may have given him his own red box and everything, right? William is going to be one of the most clueless people to sit on that throne in a very long time. He's going to be very clueless because you can't teach him anything. You can't tell him anything. You cannot advise him of anything. But both of them have been very disrespectful to Charles and Camilla, and they, likewise have received a lot of pushback. Look at this one. Arise, Queen Kate. A lot of that terminology, that is coming from Kensington Palace. Sarah Vine asked the question, wasn't the coronation about Charles and Camilla? All we've seen are William and Kate wafting through Kensington Palace in Hollywood-style videos, all, dare I say it, a bit manipulative. I'd almost rather watch one of Harry's worthy documentaries. Now, when Sarah Vine has to push that out there, she's not really talking to us. She's trying to appeal to Will and Kate. That's why I said yesterday, there are people that are terrified of the day William becomes king. They're terrified because if he's screwing up this bad, and just remember, this week, Rebecca English said that there's a fear about William and Kate becoming increasingly isolated. But what I wonder, is it isolated from the public? Probably that too. But is it isolated from each other? And I'll show you why in a little bit. Okay. There have been times when Camilla has had to push back, like this one right here, where Camilla pretty much embarrassed her in front of the world by telling her to get out my face. In so many words, get out of my face. You don't belong here. Go over there and charm somebody else. I'm talking. The adults are talking. That was embarrassing, but necessary. So at some point, I think Camilla had her regrets and she wanted to publicly embrace the Welleses. So when they were at that last function, as you can see, she gives a little wave to Will and Kate because they have not been talking. There's not been much conversation between the two households. Not much at all. It's kind of like the civil war that's taking place in the Republican Party. The only thing that they had in common before was the hatred of the left. In this instance, it is the common enemy, the other household. So she goes and gives Kate a little peck on the cheek. She gives Willie a little peck on the cheek. And supposedly all is forgiven. Let me see. Leg says... Woo! Exactly. As you said, exactly. Let me put something on my lips because I promise you, you're trying to make me split my lip. Okay. I got some petroleum-based dry skin treatment. I'm just going to put that on there for now. Okay. Disaster averted. Yep. My mouth tastes funny, but my lips are safe. Woo! Okay. Look at there. Camilla is hot. Look at her face. Do I still have that video? Where she chased Kate away? Do you guys know that they wanted Kate to change the spelling of her name to K instead of C? Because they didn't want any confusion with Camilla and Catherine. I believe that's why a lot of the publications are still saying Kate Middleton, because that using that C for the cipher has been a bit of a headache for Camilla. Okay. Oh, legs. That was funny. Okay. I don't think I have that handy, that video. But in the meantime, let's have a word or two from
all of us watching at home. Congratulations to Team GB.
Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB.
What's wrong with her mouth? From all of us at home.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations.
Is there something wrong with her mouth?
Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB.
Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB.
Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB. Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
Damn. What a couple of weirdos, huh? Oh, man. Kate trying to sound so posh, wasn't she? She was so posh.
From all of us watching at home,
From
congratulations.
all of us watching at home. From all of us watching at home. Now, she knows she didn't grow up talking like that.
All of us watching at home,
I mean, look at how she has to contort her mouth to sound so posh. Look, watch.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB.
Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB.
Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB.
Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration.
Is there something wrong with her mouth? She ain't on that stuff, is she? Y'all think she on that stuff?
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB.
Well done.
Hazel say, let me see here. Oh, let me get that off the screen. From all of us at home. From all. Let me see. She's forcing that accent. Sounds like Princess Alexandra, who was born in the George. Are you trying to say that she's trying to sound Edwardian? Is that her Edwardian accent? I think that's what you're telling me.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB.
Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB.
Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
From all of us watching at home, congratulations to Team GB. Well done on all you've achieved. You've been an inspiration to us all.
My, isn't she posh? Well, do you think that's why Camilla was like, get the hell out of here? Maybe Camilla was just tired of it, you know? As soon as she started trying to force that accent, Camilla was like, can you go stand over there? I've seen your performance before. It ain't cute. Now, Kate snubbed again at luncheon where every working royal was invited. They only needed her to show her face at the church service for the propaganda photos and then send her back to where she's kept. Surprisingly, Andrew was in attendance. I'm telling y'all, Camilla got it in for Kate. She really does. She has it in for her. She tolerates Kate, but she really has no use for her. Yeah, see there, the king and queen gave luncheon party for the companions of the most notable Order of the Garter, at which the Prince of Wales, Duke of York, Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, the Princess Royale, Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence was there. The Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, the Duke of Kent were present. Everybody was welcome but Kate. Why angry Kate Middleton refused to curtsy to Queen Camilla at coronation. I'm just having some fun, you guys. There's really no great point to this, but I'm just having some fun. As you know, on coronation day, when Camilla went past Kate to go to her seat after she and Charles arrived at that Windsor Castle concert, Kate turned her head and refused to curtsy to her. And then, of course, William gave that amazing speech. That was like his best speech I've ever seen. And William looked better than I've ever seen. William gave that speech on the stage at Windsor Castle, congratulating and acknowledging his father's coronation, and did not mention Camilla in the least bit, not by title, not by name, not at all. Not at all. So when people say that Camilla and William are close, that's the same as saying that Charles and William spent time together in Balmoral. It's simply not true. It is not true. Yeah, Camilla has gone out of her way to try to assume as much of Diana's persona as possible, hiring Diana's designer for their first trip abroad. Um, and of course, other things, wearing Diana's colors and such. Camilla has gone out of her way to, I guess, do things completely out of spite as a means to exert authority. Things she really didn't have to do, but she just chooses to do it. And then, of course, those articles, I've noticed that on a few occasions when some of those royal reporters spend time with Camilla, they will, out of the blue, say something negative about Princess Diana. They will have something negative to say about Diana, like Diana just passed away yesterday or something. You know, it's like, oh, well, Diana was never this, never that. But yeah, the blue dress battle, that is Camilla's favorite color. She loves to wear that royal blue, that electric blue. That also happens to be one of Kate's favorite colors. And so Camilla just put the hammer down and said, no, you cannot wear it any place around Camilla. Now, there have been occasions where Kate has went ahead and put it on, but that's when she starts getting those glares. Like right here, once again, Camilla has pulled rank and decided to wear it. Kate's response was this. Talk about a picture says 1,000 words. And this. And of course, this one down, one to go. One down, one to go. Now, I might not think as much about Kate Middleton as some people do, but I will give her credit for being able to count. And she has been counting queens ever since she got there. That includes her husband. But I believe Kate would be wise to steer clear of ye old bitter bird, because that bitter bird has quite a bite on her. And she, as much as I hate to admit it, she has been very, very tenacious, and she usually gets her way. And as they say, she plays the long game. Kate has a long game of her own, but she is no match for the old bitter bird. So, yeah, that was my little thing I wanted to share about those two. And we'll get to this. Now, this came out yesterday, but I had already had another Feminegra. But we'll go through this one because I like waiting until Feminegra writes an article uh, because it's always so sound and well researched. So, British press treats Prince William and Kate Middleton as untouchables. The British coverage of the Prince of Wales and Kate Middleton has settled into a pattern that rewards affirmation and avoids friction. Long profiles, reverent headlines, and lifestyle details dominate, while harder lines of inquiry fade. This is not a claim about popularity alone. It is an arrangement about power, access, and how those forces shape what gets written about and what does not. As one former royal correspondent put it bluntly, access is everything. Now, Peter Hunt actually started this conversation with something that he wrote not long ago. He said, the dominant reason is access, and the media fears losing it. It's William's trump card, and he's a wily operator. He once temporarily froze out someone who asked questions of his advisors that weren't to his liking. To stay on the inside track, the reporting of Williams suffers too often from the avoidance of difficult topics such as royal finances. He now basks in a level of benign attention rarely afforded to public figures. And that's Peter Hunt. He wrote that in the I paper. Now, Feminegra continues. Access shapes the coverage. As heir, Prince William controls the pipeline reporters rely on. Invitations, interviews, and briefings remain gated by the palace. And Rebecca English. When access becomes the reward, tone adjusts. Former royal correspondents have described a culture where questions that probe finances, influence, or accountability carries consequences. The pattern shown in print interviews favor anecdote over examination, while public interventions pass without challenge. The value of access was understood early across newsrooms. In 2019, Amy Robach revealed that an early investigation into Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein was not aired after concerns were raised about losing royal access. The episode illustrates how the prospect of losing access could outweigh scrutiny, a lesson the royal household has benefited from ever since. And that was a big one. That was a big one. It says here, puff pieces replace scrutiny. Recent coverage has extended this protection beyond William himself. Kate is now routinely framed as a cultural force. Kate is now routinely framed as a cultural force, described as the eternal influencer and the monarchy's most valuable asset. The language is confident, the claims are expansive, the supporting evidence is non existent. non-existent. Headlines brand Kate as the internal influencer and most valuable asset, repeating praise while sidestepping polling limits, declining viewership, and real impact. Which, by the way, um, viewership for the tabloids is on a decline. Viewership for some of the Wales's events have declined. Polling that places Kate in the low to mid 60s get framed as exceptional. Despite higher ratings recorded by past royals, these puff pieces exist to polish William and Kate's image, not to reconcile the praise with the facts. So let me look at that again. So Kate is in the low to mid 60s when it comes to her popularity, whereas in the past, the popularity numbers were far greater for Queen Elizabeth and for Prince Harry, who both were, neck and neck for a while in terms of popularity. And so Kate is getting usually the 1 or 2 place along with William, but they're both scoring in the 60s, which is higher than everyone else, but should be rather alarming and disappointing when you consider the fact that it's not really considered a super majority. It's just a slight edge over everyone else. So anyway, fashion offers another test. British outlets regularly credit Kate with sustaining brands and shaping markets, yet several labels associated with her wardrobe have struggled or closed. A contradiction the coverage rarely confronts. There is little appetite to ask what return the public should expect from some of the most expensive royals in the world, particularly given the scale of the sovereign grant that supports the future monarchs. Instead, readers are served familiar domestic sketches. Kate is settling into yet another so-called forever home. She does the school run. She forgets her phone. The framing leans hard on relatability, despite the layers of staff that make such scenes possible. Few taxpayers would object to public money funding childcare or household support if it freed the Prince and Princess of Wales to deliver measurable impact somewhere. Okay. Let me do that. Yeah. Okay. So, where did I leave off? Oh, okay. There we go. The effort to appear like an ordinary working family also misfires. Much of the audience occupies a vastly different economic reality, including many at the very top. In that context, selling relatability looks less like connection and more like distraction. Protection for some, pressure for others. Protection for some, pressure for others. The soft focus around William and Kate sits alongside a harsher record toward Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex. Journalists have said publicly that negative stories about Meghan originate with Kensington Palace. Catherine, is it Phillips, World Affairs editor at the Times London, described the bullying narrative as Kensington Palace driven and carefully timed. Others echoed that assessment. A senior journalist confirms that many have suspected palace briefings shaped the anti Meghan narrative. Major outlets reported the same pattern. The Daily Express wrote that senior figures briefed against Harry and Meghan and that the press knew who they represented. Since Queen Elizabeth's death in 2022, and as William and Kate have edged closer to the throne, media commentary has shifted with the changing balance of power. That shift became more absurd in 2025 when the Amanda Platel criticized Kate in one article, only to later reverse course in an overtly apologetic piece. A move critics read as alignment with a new center of gravity. Gone are the days of labels like Lady Katie or Duchess Doolittle. In their place, Kate's cancer diagnosis has been used to shield the fragile yet costly queen in waiting from expectations of measurable impact. In other words, it protects her from having to explain why she doesn't work. Legal episodes add weight to the criticism. Court filings and testimonies place Jason Knopf, a senior aide closely aligned with the Wells household, inside efforts that intersected with Meghan Sussex's legal case against the Daily Mail. Knopf, who's served as communications secretary to William and Kate and later rose to senior advisory role, is widely regarded as a key figure within the Wales camp, making his involvement particularly significant. The episode illustrates coordination between palace aides and sections of the press, even when the matter sat before a judge. And now, a final thought from Feminagra. The argument does not deny that Prince William and Kate Middleton attract goodwill. It asks why that goodwill needs constant narration from a media that should hold them to account, just as it does other public figures, and just as it has done with the American private citizens like Meghan Sussex. Access carries value, but it also carries a cost. When coverage trades challenges for proximity, readers are left with a story shaped by incentives rather than evidence. A future monarch should withstand scrutiny. The press should provide it, not script the applause. Okay, so that was Feminagra. And as you can see there, there's Catherine Phillips' article, not article, but tweets. Now, Amanda Platel says, I'm so disgusted with myself for the cruel things that I said about Kate. I'm choking on my words now. I know the truth. Kate, I'm just so sorry. Well, when she did criticize Kate, a lot of pressure was put on her. They accused the Daily Mail of being anti-Will and Kate, which is outrageous because they have been carrying water for those two for a long time. And check this out from today. You know that people have been saying that Will and Kate do not live together, right? I've said it. I don't believe that they live in the same household. Well, take a look at that. Looks like court-ordered co-parenting, that is going smoothly. Love that for them. This alleges that William is spending time with George and Charlotte, and that Louis, in all likelihood, is with his mother. Now, one could say that Louis wasn't on board the helicopter because it is not deemed safe to have the whole family up in the air at the same time. But Where is Kate Middleton? Where is Kate Middleton? You see, the need for privacy at the Forest Lodge may have to do with Kate living there alone with the kids and William living someplace else. Now, all of this is alleged. We have no absolute evidence of any separation, but it just seems like that's what's going on. Just like when Charlotte was brought to tears the first time she had a good look at her father's beard. That means that she hadn't been with her father while the beard was growing. She didn't see the shadow turn into a beard because obviously they were not under the same roof. Why would the shock bring her to tears if she watched it grow? The answer is she didn't watch it grow. Look at that. They're on their way to Kensington Palace. The helicopter brought them to Kensington Palace. Not their forever home, Kensington Palace. Interesting, isn't it? And no sign of Louis. So, a little shade from the Sussex squad. I Am Sage says, thanks for captioning, Steels. This is unbelievable and the clearest evidence we have seen that William and Kate are in fact separated in private but maintain a perfect marriage image in public. There is literally no reason why William would be at KP with the older two kids and with overnight bags. They don't even go to school in London. How about that? Remember, this is all alleged. Zandy Sussex says, at least the co-parenting appears to be going well. Here are Charlotte and George captured arriving by helicopter at Kensington Palace with their overnight bags. It's been obvious for a while that Willie and Kate are separated and the kids shuttle between their parents' homes. Wow. The Sussex Soldier says, duh. That's new. 150-acre security zone created around Forest Lodge, Kate's home in Windsor, is to keep prying eyes from seeing the truth, from seeing that only Kate lives there with the children. Shut the front door. And I just brought up this old magazine from a while ago. Kate and kids secretly living with her mom. Well, that was then. Now Kate seems to have a country pile in Windsor. This has been going on for a long time, if there is something going on. Adelaide Cottage was too small for someone of Kate's status. So it just makes sense that they would move her to a larger home to share with the kids as opposed to Adelaide Cottage. That's what I think. Now, we are at the end of our broadcast day. I'm going to leave you with this thought. Let them be them. Let us be us. Now, that is really something we should consider, especially where the derangers are concerned. Let the derangers be who they are, and we'll just be who we are. We are so much better organized than the derangers. we are more compassionate to one another than the Derangers. There has been some infighting with the Derangers like you could not believe. Oh, I love it. This one falls out with that one. That one falls out with this one. Um, some of the Derangers are taking money, making up excuses, to raise money and such. Very different from the Sussex squad. You should be proud to be associated with the Sussex squad. Lex says Kate is making sure she isn't alone lest she disappears. Keep one of the kids close to her. I hope that she rotates the kids. Maybe Louis is the new Harry. Thank you, Lex, for the super chat. And thank you and everyone for the very interesting topics that you shared today. A lot of information. Very cool. All right. So that's it. I know a lot of people have already said goodnight. We will pick up again tomorrow, of course. And as they say, watch that space. By the way, if somebody sent some chocolate from Switzerland, I am down to my last piece. Oh, no, I'm not. I forgot. I got those other ones. Never mind. I was about to say I'm down to my last piece, but I just realized I got those other ones. But thank you very much for that. They were magnificent. Let's see. Adelaide was taken to spite the Sussexes in the first place. Maybe it was too intimate when he came and she couldn't get away. Need a place with more room. Yeah, definitely. Well, and it's also about status. It's about status, I believe, too. Like they were saying that Camilla may actually move into Royal Lodge, or Camilla may move into what is that other place? The other house on the estate. There's the Royal Lodge, and then there's the I can't remember the name of that other place. Oh, Frogmore House. There's Frogmore House, and then there's Frogmore Cottage. And Frogmore House is much nicer. I believe Frogmore House, they almost look identical to me, Royal Lodge and Frogmore House. But I think ideally they would want Camilla at the Royal Lodge, right? But for certain, they're going to want Camilla to have something befitting her status as queen consort. And I believe the same for Kate. Adelaide Cottage would have been too small and not prestigious enough, because let's say, William does not live as long as his father has lived, then that means George would be king. And if George is king, it would be very odd for Kate to live in something like Adelaide Cottage. It's just not befitting the status. I don't really care. She can go to hell as far as I'm concerned. But Frogmore House is a museum? Really? Oh, I didn't know that. I had no idea. I thought that it was still, livable, but okay, well, that makes sense. They probably don't get a lot of visitors, do they? I don't even think Windsor Castle gets that many visitors. Yeah, Windsor Castle is no Versailles. Believe me when I say that. It is no Palace of Versailles. Good night, Monica Waters. Anyway, you guys, as usual, very interesting. And yes, for certain, we're going to have to do probably toward the end of the month, we'll do another thing with Hazel and Legs if they're up to it, if they're so inclined. I hope we have something really juicy to talk about. I'm sure we will. Even if we don't, it's always interesting. Oh, thank you, Ingrid Sowers. Okay, folks, that's it. Woo, I didn't even have to say anything. Boy, these people dropped off like flies. Look at there. There were 600. Now there's not. Anyway, I'm going to try to come on earlier tomorrow. I had to run some errands today, and I had every intention of starting sooner, but it just wasn't possible. I made a mistake and went to Costco's. I said, I'm just going to go and get those delicious flatbread sandwiches that I like and perhaps a couple of other things, and that's it. Well, $109 later, I said, what the what? And that's not even counting gasoline. I went to the gas station too at Costco's. But I love those delicious, I think it's tikka masala flatbread bread sandwiches. You can grill them. You can put them in the air fryer. I mean, you could heat them however you want to. You can heat them in the microwave. Get them up to temperature and enjoy. Talk about some good eating. Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me go take a look. I'll be right back. Okay. Let me see. All right, I'm going to post a picture of it so you can see exactly what it looks like. All right. Well, it's all right, and we're having fun. We're gonna get right back to where we started from. Love is good. Love can be fun. We gotta get right back to where we started from. There it is right there. Remember the day, that sunny day. Okay. And here's a closer look at the label. It is the newest flavor is here. Chicken tikka masala flatbread sandwich. Oh, it's so good. I love those. And inside, whatever's inside of it, that's what they got. Let me see here. Let me see. A thin and flaky flatbread sandwich filled with savory chicken tikka masala. Our mom, Nazifa, that's her name. Our mom, Nazifa, started with just a dream and a passion for cooking From humble beginnings at the local farmers market, she brought her cherished family recipes to life using fresh local ingredients. Her dedication and love for quality food quickly won over customers. Today, Balani continues her legacy by using premium ingredients and staying true to our roots. Thank you for supporting and being part of our journey. And it says here you can cook in a non-stick pan, air fryer, conventional oven, a toaster. Wow, you can put it in a toaster. And of course, the microwave. Yeah, I love these things. So good. And so there's actually four halves. It's four halves. It's like two big flatbreads cut in half. So you got four sandwiches in there. Chicken tikka masala. Love, love, love those. I made a special trip to Costco. And what I usually do, since their portions are so big, I look at the date for expiration or the sell by date. And then whatever I don't eat, I just put it in the freezer. Okay. Well, if there is nothing else, I am really enjoying hanging out. I kind of don't want to go, but I think I should get rested up for tomorrow. I do have some. Oh, wait, what is this? A non-witch? It's also made with tikka masala. Irresistible Indian cuisine. A non-witch. Get it? Instead of a sandwich, a non-witch. But this is a little different from the flatbread. But I've had their products before, and they are excellent. Yeah, they are excellent. Good night, Connie Bomber. Good night, Legs. Good night, Hazel Jones. Good night, Miss Z. Good night, Cookies and Cream. Good night, G254611. And good night, Cami Bluetooth. Good night, Hazel Jones. Good night, Perlina Answers. Joyce Anderson, good night. Beverly McCaskill. Monica Waters, good night. Sandra, good night to you too. Zakoy Farms, good morning to you. I know your day is starting, right? Oh, you're talking about Kate, maybe the dental work, huh? Anyway, good night, GM Harris, or or good morning, whichever it is. Good night, Bunny Rose. Oh, that glitch with the As Ever website. Yeah, I wasn't sure that I wanted to talk about that, so I don't know, I didn't want to add anything to it. But since we're on the topic, it's a silly story. Although it has confirmed that Meghan has sold over 1 million jars of preserves, which is a good thing, but it's so silly. It's so silly. Yeah, that's it. That's all I had to say about it. I think it's kind of much to do about nothing. Although it's not surprising that someone would take the time to try to, I gotcha, to do a little gotcha. If Meghan wasn't doing as well as she's doing, then they wouldn't have anything to say. But the more that Meghan exceeds and outperforms everyone's expectation, then the more they go after her. I cannot wait for the Sussexes to quietly become billionaires. I'm going to celebrate that day. I am going to celebrate. When I see that article that says that the Sussexes are billionaires, I am going to celebrate. I'm looking forward to that. I have never wanted someone else to have so much money more than I wanted that for the Sussexes. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Good night, Sharon Skinner. Oh, also available in a single pack. Is it really? Not at Costco's, it ain't. Yeah, not at Costco's. Costco's look more like that. It's in one of those vacuum packs. Ella Parker, I didn't know you were here. Good night. I didn't know you were here. Okay. Cheers. Good night, everyone. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space.